Alright guys, how's it going today? So, I couldn't get my light to come on. Sometimes my flashlight will come on while I'm videotaping. Couldn't get it to come on. I don't know, I must have done something wrong. But anyways, I'm back on the tractor again. And I am officially starting the extension remotes, or the remote extensions for the 1586. That's why we're here in the tractor. Just a lot of dicking around and trying to get things to move to your liking. And it's getting dark out now. It's about 5 o'clock, and I've only been here for working on this project for about an hour. But I talked to my grandma for about 20 minutes because I had to stop in the big house. So that's the big house. We call that the big house because it's the biggest house on the farm, and that's kind of like where all the meetings happen. You know, when we have to have meetings about the farm. It's kind of like the White House or the courthouse kind of thing. That's it. That's the place we go for that. So, but anyways, I started the extensions here for the remotes, and this is just trial and error. But you know what? It's turning out pretty. Get this arm rest out of the way. It's this isn't really going to fit on there because this is too small. So I think what I'm going to do, and these are kind of wrecked now because they're a bitch. This one was a bitch to get off. I don't know why. So I'm gonna have to buy some new ones, I guess, if I want to keep it looking neat. But see how there's all that play in there. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a bead of weld. You know, just weld on top here and then try it. And if I got to weld another one on, just to fill the gap so this is tight when that's on there. And so just a light would work, but you can see where I've cut it. And of course I've been bending it. I think I almost could just fill that in with weld, and then it should be fine. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm also going to, it'll be on this side though. I'm going to run another small plate like this on this side, to stiffen it up. It shouldn't bend too bad. Now, the reason why it's moving like that is because the remote has got play in it. But there's got to be some stiffness in that. Yeah, and I'm just doing the third remote because it's the closest one to the door and easiest to work on. The rest of them are going to be a lot harder to work from, and I just needed. I don't think I'm going to get them all done, but I basically got this held into place with a hose clamp and some vice grips. So the way I had this before, because I just got back from the shop, because I cut it here again. Well, it was actually about up to here, so it was a lot longer than that. It felt all right. Like I was like, you know, I could leave that and it'd be all right. The remote would be a lot higher up. But then I flipped back because I got to go buy the armrest, because you know when you're going to be running these remotes, you're going to be having your arm on the rest thingy. So when I do that, and I'm sitting here, and because right now it's kind of, it would be backwards, but I'm baling hay. And this runs the pickup head. This is actually at a pretty comfortable angle. It felt pretty good up here too, but I just didn't like it. I mean, I had to be okay with it, but I wanted it to be a little bit shorter. So I had marked it. You're not gonna see it now because I cut it off, but I put a line here, and then I put the letter C, and that's short for cut. Like I said, it was way up here, and you know, but I wasn't sure yet. I didn't want to cut this too short, and I wasn't going to be happy with it because I don't want to waste too much metal, because I only got technically one piece left now. I got some scrap pieces of this, so that'll be good to stiffen this back up a little bit. But yeah, so I cut it. Now it feels all right. And then down here, I put another line. I kind of based it off of that's probably too much. I based it off the very top of this factory remote. This is the top of the factory remote. I'm not going to change this because I noticed that they have this bulged out, I guess, for the knob. What I'm going to leave, unfortunately, I am going to have to drill through this to run a couple of bolts through it. I'm going to put one bolt here and then one at the bottom. 2 should be plenty for that. And then, so I based it off of that, and that's where I made my other half cut. I put the letter B, and that's just short for bend, because this is where I wanted to bend it. So that's where I just went off of that. But I think the young guy and his dad, they did this completely different to how I'm doing it. But because to me it looks like they just cut it at all different angles and they welded it to fit like that. But this works. I think this will be plenty strong, and if it's not strong enough, I'll just take it back off, because it'll just be bolted on here. I'm not going to weld it on, because I don't, like I said, I'm not leaving this permanent, because if the next owner, if I decide to sell this tractor in the future, and they want the short remotes back, then this won't be tampered with. It'll just have holes in it, and they can cover the holes up with the cap. And then the bottom one, well, they'll have to, I guess, put filler in it or something and paint over it, or Bondo or something like that. I don't know, but the top one, at least they could cover it with, this guy. But I think I should fill in this hole with the welder, and then I should put well, it's going to be on this side, I guess. It doesn't really matter, because it's which side it goes on, but it'll probably end up being just like it is now. I'm going to put a reinforcement plate here, because I won't be able to, depending on what side it's on, like this side, I can't really put a plate here. The only way I probably could put a plate is I would have to put basically put a spacer in here, just to have space in between these two for the reinforcement plate. And the reinforcement plate would be made out of the same stuff as this. It's, if you just thicken it, it'll be stiffer then. But I think if I fill this in with weld and then put one plate over it, I think it should be strong enough. Right now it's not going to hold because it's not welded and it's not bolted. So if I tried to move it right now, that's just play in the remote. But yeah, then it'll just pull all this out of whack and it'll bend it. So there goes a white pickup. Letting their dog run around. But I think that's going to be pretty good. It's getting darker by the minute. Jeez, you can't even hardly see nothing now unless I zoom back in. But yeah, that looks pretty good. So that feels, and it'll feel even better once you get to these other two remotes. This is just the furthest away remote. This remote obviously probably won't do anything. So I don't know if I'm going to put a extension on this one. I'm just using this one as a template. But they're all the same. One's closer than the other, obviously, to the seat, but they're gonna be all the same level. And yeah, that feels pretty damn good. I'm pretty happy with that. All I have to really do now is You got to drill out the holes for this guy, and then I got to drill the holes in the factory remote in the same places, and then bolt it on, and it'll be fine. But this, I'm gonna have to do like a dry fit. So I'm gonna have to do all my drilling and stuff first, and then after that, when the final product is done, I'm going to paint them. I'm gonna put some primer on them, and then get some Case IH paint, either some International Harvester red paint if they have it, or just some Case IH red. It'll be fine. It's all. I mean, there's a slight tweak to every paint job for older and newer tractors, but as long as it's Case IH red, I'm good with it. But that looks pretty good. This is just part one. I don't know how many more I'll do, but and I know that South Saskatchewan farmer, he didn't do this. What he did was he brought them he brought them here or something like that. Like, he didn't extend them up, he extended them back. But I don't see how that's, how that was friendly user, or user friendly. Up, you want to bend them up, bend them back, and then go up with them. That's how you want to do it. That's how the young guy did it, and that's how the old timer did it. And that's what I like. So that's, even just for being on the third remote, this third remote is a lot more comfortable to grab. It's better than grabbing way down here. Like I'm sitting here. I even kind of just pretended that I was, baling hay. Of course, now I'd be running this remote. Well, if I'm driving forward, I want to adjust the pickup, I'd use my right hand. But if I was used to use a hydraulic tie, I tried it, because now you'd be leaning back, and then you'd probably be running it with your left hand. Again, that's how the old timer did it with his 986, but that's just what I'm used to. But it just felt so much better. Like, I'm putting twine on, and you go to this one, oh, I gotta reach to put twine on, it's like way better. And yes, there's no light in here because the batteries are not in. So, but I like them up here. When they're like way up here, it was still, pretty comfortable. But I was like, man, it's getting kind of carried away. It's like, but it's my tractor, so I can do whatever the hell I want. But no, I like this. This is very, very user friendly now. Because I got my arm on the armrest. I think my arm probably just dips down maybe ½ inch to grab that, compared to, way down here. You got to pretty much break your arm to get it to bend that way. International should have thought of something better than that. That's kind of piss poor there, but they probably figured too. People are going to modify their equipment. That's what they've been doing for decades. So, and even today they're still doing it. They're modifying their stuff. And that feels pretty damn good right there. I like that. So, but anyway, guys, I'm going to take off. It's getting too dark now to videotape. You guys can't see nothing now, but that's the plans there. I'm just going to weld all that up, drill the holes out, put a weld in here to make it thicker. So this should just, should just fit right on, at least somewhat snug, so I can't pull it off by mistake. And then we'll prime and paint it sometime in spring, I guess. Well, I probably could do it in the wintertime. I think what I could do is I could just bring the metal into the house, let it warm up, and then put a little table outside, spray paint it, and then bring the metal back in the house right away. I put it on some kind of a wire or something so I can carry it, and I'll just set it down in the basement or something, or whatever, and it can cure in the house, because it'll never cure outside. So, but I like that, and that's going to be nice. And then you picture it here, second remote, and then your third remote. Well, this would be your first remote, but pretty much at the same level. It's going to be pretty comfortable, I think. So, but that's how I'm going to do that, and that should, I'll weld that in and then put a stiffener on it. I might even just run it all the way up here, just to kind of reinforce it in some places, and then prime and paint it, weld it in place, and we'll have a remote. But like I said, this one here will go to the first one. I'm not going to put it on the third one. I'm just using the third one as like a template so I can figure out what to do. So, but once I get everything to my liking, I'll probably move it over to the first one, and then I'll do it again for the second one. And then I don't know about the third one because we don't really have a use for third remotes. But if I put a loader on here and I have a grapple, well, then we'll need the third remote. But for now, it's going to be the first two that are going to get done, and then the third one will probably be just, that I haven't thought of yet. So probably most likely we'll do them all, though, just to get it done and over with. If I do run a loader on these, at least they're there. Because I might put in a separate remote setup for that, but that'll work for now. So anyways, guys, I'm going to take off, so I guess have a good day and stuff. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Take care easy.